This is some research that gets at the fact that consumers are really picking up on this and they're really beginning to care. This has been a really consumer-driven issue these past few years. So this is data from the Natural Marketing Institute. They go out and they survey consumers on what they care about. So what are the attributes of food that you most care about? And not surprisingly, people care that food tastes great, that it's nutritious, it's a good source of protein. Of course, people care about costs, sort of your typical wallet issues. But when it comes to the quote-unquote green concerns or the sustainability concerns, no antibiotics or hormones added in meat is the top one. So that top green bar, it's routinely reported by consumers that this is, close to number one or the number one issue that they're really looking for in terms of the food that they buy. We also have some data, which I think could be better, honestly, about what the transition costs would look like. So what would it look like if we were to have a livestock industry that began to reduce its use of antibiotics? So in the chicken industry, in 2007, there was a study done looking at Perdue Farms. And they actually found that eliminating antibiotics in the poultry production in Perdue Farms would save farmers a penny per chicken. So seems kind of counterintuitive, but they have to be paying for these antibiotics. So there's a cost for the veterinarians, for the antibiotics, and they might not actually be getting that much bang for the buck. So this study actually found that they would save money. A 2003 World Health Organization analysis found no net cost changes. So, basically corroborating the idea that this isn't going to, cost producers too much. In 1999, the National Research Council estimated that eliminating antibiotics would raise chicken production costs 1 to 3 pennies a pound. So this starts getting closer to the numbers that I actually hear when I go out and I talk to buyers that have built out these supply chains, when I talk to producers. I don't think that we should be going around assuming that this type of transition would actually be costless. I don't think that's really realistic. I think there will be some cost. In my private conversations, what I end up hearing is that it's a couple of pennies per pound for chicken. So can the market bear that cost? Again, this is a really consumer-driven issue. And consumers are at least saying that they really care and that they are willing to pay more. This information comes from a survey done last year by Consumer Reports. They went out and they asked just shoppers like you and me, would you buy meat raised without antibiotics? 82% said yes. If it were available, I'd buy it. Would you pay at least 5 cents more per pound for meat raised without antibiotics? 60% said yes. Would you pay $1 or more extra per pound for meat raised without antibiotics? 37%, not an insignificant number, said yes. So of course there's a big difference between what people say they would be willing to do and what they actually do when they go into the store and make decisions. But it's just another data point to say that a slight increase in the cost of productions could be passed along to consumers, and there are a lot of people out there in this country that might be willing to pay a little bit more for meat and poultry raised without antibiotics. Here's just a little amalgamation of logos of companies that have actually tested that theory and have proved really successful. So I spend a lot of my time talking to the CEOs and meat buyers at these companies. These are companies you may have heard of, Panera, Chipotle, Whole Foods. They're higher end companies, but they're also pretty mainstream. At least Panera and Chipotle are. Chipotle is opening a new restaurant something like every 3 days, I think. These companies have double-digit margins. They're growing like gangbusters, and what they've done is really spent about a decade investing in these supply chains. So looking to figure out how they can source more meat and poultry raised without antibiotics, whether their consumers would be interested in buying that product, whether their consumers would be willing to pay a little bit more, and how that would all play out. You know, they're in the business of making money, and you know, their success, I think, is a demonstration that this could work. And I should add that they are actively using this issue in their marketing. So a company like Chipotle puts this issue front and center in terms of building up its brand, sort of communicating to its customers what's going on back on the farm, what are the practices back on the farm from which their meat is coming from.